Have you ever noticed how often governments launch new programs for young people? Free tech training, startup funding, scholarships. Yet when it comes to seniors, the attention seems much quieter. Many elderly citizens feel they've been pushed aside, as if their decades of contributions no longer matter. Imagine this. You worked hard your entire life, paid your taxes, raised your family, and now in your golden years, it feels like the spotlight has moved on to the younger generation. Today, we're diving into why so many seniors believe governments care more about the youth than the elderly, what fuels this perception, and what it really means for society. But before we begin, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters here, and together, we're building a community where every age counts. Number 1. The shifting spotlight. Why seniors feel left behind. One of the most common frustrations seniors express is a feeling that society, and by extension governments, place the spotlight almost entirely on the younger generation. Politicians often use phrases like, "the youth are the leaders of tomorrow," or "we must invest in the future." And while those statements sound positive, they send a quiet but powerful message to older citizens. Your chapter has already been written. This isn't to say youth programs are unnecessary. In fact, they play an important role in any nation's progress. But when seniors look at budget allocations, government campaigns, or even the news, they see scholarships, tech hubs, startup grants, and digital economy training programs being rolled out almost monthly for young people. At the same time, programs directly addressing senior concerns, like affordable health care, pension increases, or housing security, tend to receive less visibility and far less enthusiasm. This imbalance feeds into a painful perception that once you cross a certain age, society quietly moves you out of the spotlight and onto the sidelines. Many seniors feel like their years of paying taxes, serving the workforce, and raising families are quickly forgotten the moment they're no longer seen as economically productive. Take, for example, the story of Margaret, a retired teacher in her late 70s. She spent 4 decades shaping young minds, preparing students to contribute to the world. Yet today, she struggles to afford her medication because her pension barely covers her basic needs. When she hears about millions of dollars being invested in youth programs, she often wonders, didn't I already contribute to building this nation? Why does it feel like I've been pushed aside? Her story reflects the silent frustration many elderly citizens carry, highlighting why the shifting spotlight feels like a form of abandonment. Number 3, cultural shifts and media influence. Beyond government policies, there's another powerful factor shaping how seniors feel forgotten. Cultural shifts and the influence of media. We live in a society that glorifies youth. Advertisements highlight young, vibrant faces. Social media trends celebrate innovation, energy, and speed. Television programs and movies often portray the elderly as background characters, fragile, outdated, or dependent, rather than as central, respected figures. This cultural narrative doesn't happen in isolation. It creates ripple effects. When younger people see constant portrayals of youth as the standard of beauty, intelligence, and success, they subconsciously absorb the idea that aging equals decline. And when seniors rarely see themselves represented positively, it sends a clear, hurtful message. You no longer belong at the center of the story. Even in workplaces, the push for fresh ideas and new energy can translate into subtle age discrimination. Seniors who might still want to contribute often feel edged out, while their decades of wisdom are undervalued. The media amplifies this imbalance by continuously celebrating youth achievements, while rarely showcasing elderly accomplishments, whether it's lifelong dedication to family, years of professional experience, or resilience through historic challenges. This lack of representation reinforces a perception that governments and society as a whole place greater value on the young. Seniors begin to feel invisible not just in policy, but in culture itself. Consider the story of Helen, a retired nurse. She devoted her entire career to caring for others, working long hours through crises and emergencies. Yet, when she turned on the TV recently, she noticed every health campaign featured young doctors, young patients, and young innovators. There wasn't a single older face in sight. She sighed and thought, do they not realize people my age still exist, still matter, still contribute? For Helen and millions like her, this absence in the cultural conversation deepens the painful belief that the elderly are being quietly erased from society's vision of progress. Number 4, economic and political reasons. To understand why governments often appear to prioritize youths, we need to look at the economics and politics behind it. From an economic standpoint, the younger generation represents the active workforce, the future taxpayers, entrepreneurs, and innovators who will keep the system running for decades. Investing in them is seen as investing in growth, stability, and long-term national strength. It's a strategy that makes financial sense, but often overlooks the emotional and social costs of seniors who feel excluded. On the political side, the calculation is equally sharp. Youths make up a large portion of the voting population in many countries, and they tend to be more vocal in demanding change. Politicians know that winning the hearts of young voters can secure long-term political influence. Seniors, though significant in number, are sometimes taken for granted because many are seen as loyal voters who will continue supporting the same parties out of habit or tradition. This perception can cause governments to channel fewer resources toward elderly-focused programs, believing their support is already guaranteed. Another factor is the narrative of productivity. Seniors are too often categorized as a cost to the system through pensions, health care, and subsidies, while youths are described as an investment. This framing creates an unfortunate imbalance where contributions seniors have already made, decades of work, taxes, and service, are overshadowed by the demand to fuel future growth. Take the story of James, a retired engineer. For 40 years, he helped design bridges and roads that still connect cities today. Yet, when he applied for government housing support, he was told the funds had been redirected to youth development projects. Watching politicians praise investing in tomorrow, James couldn't help but think, what about today? What about the people who built yesterday? His story captures the frustration many seniors feel, that political and economic logic too often leaves human dignity out of the equation. Number 5, real-life impact on seniors. While policy debates and economic theories may seem distant, the consequences of governments focusing more on youths than the elderly are painfully real in everyday life. Seniors feel the weight of these decisions in areas as essential as health, finances, and emotional well-being. Healthcare is often the first and most pressing struggle. Elderly patients face long waiting lists for crucial surgeries or treatments, sometimes waiting months just for an appointment. In underfunded systems, a senior may have to choose between paying out of pocket or enduring worsening health conditions. The neglect in healthcare services directly feeds a belief that seniors are no longer a priority. Then there's financial pressure. Pensions and retirement benefits in many places fail to keep up with inflation, while younger people may receive grants to start businesses or study abroad. Seniors find themselves struggling to afford rising rent, utility bills, and medication. This creates not just financial strain, but a sense of betrayal. After decades of paying into the system, the support they receive feels insufficient. Social isolation is another often overlooked impact. Government-funded youth programs bring people together through networking events, community activities, and innovation hubs. Seniors, however, are left with fewer initiatives that encourage social bonding or combat loneliness. Even though isolation among the elderly is a well-documented public health concern, consider the story of Maria, an 82-year-old widow. She worked as a seamstress her entire life, raising 3 children and contributing to her community. Today, her pension barely covers her medication, and with her children living far away, she spends most days alone in her small apartment. One day, she saw a news segment about a new youth innovation center opening in her city. While she understood its importance, she couldn't help but whisper to herself, "Where's the center for people like me?" Her words captured the daily reality many seniors face: being present in society, yet invisible in its priorities. If you're finding this discussion valuable, please subscribe, like, and comment below. Do you think governments should balance their focus more fairly between youths and seniors? Your opinion could spark meaningful conversations. Number 6. Seniors as pillars of society. Despite often feeling overlooked, seniors remain one of the most vital pillars holding up society. Their contributions extend far beyond their working years, and in many ways, they are the invisible backbone that sustains families, communities, and even economies. Seniors provide guidance, mentorship, and wisdom that only comes from lived experience. In workplaces, they share knowledge younger generations can't find in textbooks. In families, they are the storytellers, passing down traditions and values that shape cultural identity. Even in retirement, many seniors volunteer, support charities, or care for grandchildren so their children can pursue careers. These acts rarely make headlines, but they quietly keep society functioning smoothly. The financial role of seniors is often underestimated, too. Many continue to support younger relatives, paying school fees for grandchildren, helping their adult children with bills, or sharing their modest pensions when times get hard. Seniors also make up a significant portion of donors to religious and community organizations, keeping many social programs alive. Far from being a burden, they are, in truth, givers. Yet the lack of recognition creates a painful contradiction. Seniors give so much, yet feel valued so little. When government highlight youth as the sole future, they ignore the reality that today's stable society was built on the shoulders of those who are now elderly. Take the story of Mr. Adewale, a retired farmer in his 80s. For decades, he fed his community, teaching younger farmers how to cultivate the land. Even in retirement, he still gives advice and shares seeds with neighbors. But when he needed government assistance for health care, he was turned away due to limited senior-focused funding. He sat outside the clinic and said quietly, "I gave my life to feeding others. Why can't the system feed me now?" His words are a reminder that seniors are not relics of the past. They are a foundation on which the present stands. Number 7, bridging the gap, what needs to change? If seniors are feel as valued as the younger generation, then governments and societies must take deliberate steps to bridge the gap. This isn't about taking opportunities away from youths. It's about creating balance, ensuring that while the future is being built, the present generation of seniors isn't left behind. One major change is in healthcare. Seniors need systems that prioritize their unique challenges, from chronic illnesses to mobility issues. Expanding specialized clinics, reducing wait times, and offering affordable medication programs would immediately show that their well-being matters. Another critical area is pensions and financial security. Government should regularly adjust retirement benefits to match the cost of living, ensuring seniors don't fall into poverty after a lifetime of contribution. This would restore dignity and reduce the silent struggles many elderly people face. Digital literacy programs for seniors could also make a huge difference. As governments move services online, seniors must be empowered with the skills to access them. Training workshops and senior-friendly technology centers could open doors to services, communication, and even job opportunities for those still willing to work. Finally, seniors need a louder voice in decision-making. Including elderly representatives in advisory boards and policy councils ensures their needs are heard firsthand. When governments create policies with seniors, not just for them, the impact is more meaningful. Consider the story of Mrs. Thompson, a retired librarian. She joined a local senior advocacy group that lobbied for a digital training program in her town. Months later, she was able to video call her grandchildren overseas for the first time. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I don't feel left out anymore." Her story shows what happens when seniors are included. They don't just benefit personally, they strengthen society as a whole. So, here's the big question. Do governments really care more about the youth and the elderly, or do seniors just need stronger representation? The truth may lie somewhere in the middle. But what's undeniable is that seniors deserve recognition for the decades of service and wisdom they've poured into society. If you found today's discussion eye-opening, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with this perspective, or do you see it differently? Your input could help shape future conversations and even inspire positive change. Remember, every voice matters, whether young or old. So stay connected, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next video.